Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Do I see I'm transmitting? Okay, audio. All right, I think we're good. Hopefully. It's good to see folks. How is everyone doing? Um, I am kind of a little behind today, so I'm kind of gathering stuff. In fact, the microwave is going to beep at me in a second. I'm going to have to go around and grab my chai. I'll do that in a little bit. First thing first, though, we got a special request, so let's go ahead and somebody actually, when I posted this week, that's not enough to get a copy strike on us. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're not monetizing it anyways. So there we go. That we've officially now covered UFC on the stream. And on that note, let's actually take a look at it. I wanted to come over and check the tweets. There it is. What do we? Okay, so the poll is over. Yeah, that's what I figured. Audience participation did request like do some RE, man. You sell a reverse engineering tool. You should do some RE. Which I've admitted this several times. I feel like I'm so bad at RE anymore. I just like build Binja. But hopefully that means I'm good at some parts of it. So we'll give it a try. We've got a couple of ideas of things we're gonna go for. But I do want to start with just a couple of quick updates. Go back to my notes. Just real summaries. It's not been a whole lot that's landed on dev, although I actually was just talking in another chat about the type parsing is actually coming along where we're going to use Clang potentially as a type parser. And that'll have a lot of nifty advantages. We kind of already have Clang under the hood, or at least LLVM. We're doing it like an LLVM build to do like when you do an assemble for a lot of these architectures, a lot of them actually just use MC from LLVM directly to emit assembly for those architectures. So it's already kind of part of the build process anyways. We already had a couple of patches, and actually using it for type parsing makes a lot of sense. So Glen's been actually doing that, which is really cool. I'm looking forward to playing with that as that gets closer to landing. So that'll be nice, and that should fix up a lot of the issues with like importing type information. Whereas right now, Binja's like using SCC behind the scenes, so it's actually using the shellcode compiler, which is still a really nifty thing. The fact that we have a compiler built in, and it's really actually nice for a lot of different architectures and shellcode. It's nice, but relying on it for all of our type parsing means that we're a little too brittle, I would say. So that'll be a nice change. Let's see what else we got. Oh, this is another one. So I told somebody this recently and they didn't believe me, so I wanted to show it off on stream. This build here that I've got up is 3267. So this is like latest dev here. But if I actually use the update switcher, is it called the update manager? I was gonna look at this actually. Oops. Update channel. Yeah, the update channel map. So like if I just switch between any of these last dev updates, and you watch how much faster the updates are. So there it is. Video evidence updates are way faster. So Rusty actually did some work behind the scenes a couple weeks ago, and updates are blazing fast now. Now, that said, if you're switching between stable and the latest, like if you actually go back over to stable, it won't be faster because the stable stuff didn't have that change. That was like a set of changes he made after that because he didn't want to mess with the stable release that was going out. So, but if you're on any of the latest devs and you want to kind of switch around between versions, yeah, it's a little bit quicker. So that's pretty nice. I think a lot of folks will appreciate that. I mean, it was always a background update, but oh, you know what? I gotta close the blinds so this little thing is not right behind my head. We have like a curtain I hang across the door, and I'm gonna grab my drink. So in the meantime, let me give you all an assignment. So the tweet was do some RE, but like what should I RE? So if you want to write in the chat, if you've got a hash, if you've got the type of thing you want to see a crack me, do you want to see some malware? Do you want to see like a little reverse engineering challenge? Or a little vulnerability research challenge, like even like using the API to like script over some stuff to try to find a vulnerability, for example. or something like that. So comment in chat, and I'm gonna go get my drink and then block the light here real quick. And I'm gonna try something new too. I think did I set it up? Oh, I didn't actually set up my thing in the list here, but I think I've got like a be right back screen. So let's see. There we go. Also, I realized something else. When I closed the curtain, I realized how dark it was. I actually have my lights on. So, oh, I can do this here. What is flashing? Oh, that light is flickering. That's super annoying. Those lights. Yeah, those lights need to stay off. That's bad. All right. Let's try this. Is this working? No, this is not. You know the problem with like smart lights is that like they don't have the Elgato, what are these? Yeah, the Elgato lights don't actually have like a physical button that you can push. Wait, what? They're not working at all? They're really not working. So my front lights are off. Whatever. That doesn't matter. Oh, and I've got updates. Okay, come on. Let's get rid of this. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing too. Let's go back to desktop. Okay. Told you a little off. Nobody's chatting in chat. So does that mean I get to choose the binary that I'm looking at? I want you all to have some stay in this. Let me. Why are my lights off? Power? Yes. Somebody turned them off. That's what. Okay. Let's try this again. All right. So. Yeah, Valgrind, I've got a little bit. Oh, that's a good question. All right. So, yeah, so let's see here. The question is, you know, if I've got some binary open and I want to do like a search, so I want to find something that is flexible, can I just do like a wildcard search or regular expression or like any kind of thing? And the answer is no. The default search box doesn't have that, which is pretty annoying. You can't do that. But what you can kind of do is I'll show you like the one option you do have. So if I wanted to instead do like find 6800 as a hex string, and now if you select this find all box, the case insensitive shouldn't matter since I'm doing a hex string search. The search results are going to be here into a pane. I remember if I can move it to the side. Yeah, I can. I can pop it, or I pop it out as a separate window. So like, let's see. So if I've got like my list of all of the things, and I intentionally chose something I knew would show up with a fair amount of. Oh yeah, actually, the case sensitivity did impact it. Right, you notice these 48s are actually showing up because that's case insensitive. It's gonna allow both forms of that. So like if I wanted to, let's do that again. Let's do a find, but let's not make it case sensitive. I actually just want to find those. All right, so like I've got this particular pattern that I found. You can filter in this pattern, and this does support regular expressions, I think. So I like you could just do like a sub search here for whatever the other string was. So like if you wanted to search for 20, is it hex 21? No, it's just 21. So that's how I would do it right now. It's not as powerful as like actually being able to have kind of a globbing or regular expression engine, but you can do that. And I think this filter box here if you do like an actual, it's in hex mode, so it's not going to work here. But if you do like a string search instead, so like if you do find, and I would like, yeah, we need an actual. So if you convert it to this format where it's like an escape string, but you still give it to it in hex, it's just still find the same stuff. But now the filter box, I can actually do, I think, like regular expressions here. So I think I can actually do like hex 21 and then optionally as make that an optional thing. And then, so like you can do stuff like this. All right, wait, is it not hex 21? Oh, that's right, it's 21. So it still wants it in hex, but you can do regular expressions here. Okay, cool. So we got some challenge suggestions. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So yeah, you can basically filter it that way. So Valgrind, it's not as nice as having a real globbing search, but if it's not a pattern that's insanely huge and there's like millions of results, you can get it in the search window, filter it down, and then you can use that to find other stuff. So cool. So I agree, a Windows binary would be good. And actually, a Windows binary will be good once 3.1 has all of its features landed. But before all the 3.1 features are done, we'll find all the things I don't like. Maybe that's a good thing. So if you're like, yes, experience our pain, find the stuff you need to fix, then yeah, we could do something Windows based, and then like do a before and after, right? So we could look at it now and then look at it in another couple months once 3.1's about done and everything is kind of hit. Oh, one last thing to mention in the kind of like the update category is Rusty's been working a lot on memory utilization. So and you can actually see this, right? So I've mentioned this I think before, but just for people who aren't aware, if you go to our Binary Ninja API repo, you can actually see in here like test branches as they're landing. And in fact, there's like there's a channel on our public Slack too called there's like the GitHub channel that will show anytime there's a test branch that's pushed. And so test underscore, I think is it, it's not memory, what was he calling it? Go back and look myself. So yeah, load optimize is what he called it. So load optimize. So you can see here, you'll see like the names of test branches of things that we're working on while they're not even in like the dev state ready. So folks might have seen that, but that's what that particular branch is. Rusty's got like a Chrome, like his goal is you should be able to analyze a Chrome debug build in 32 gigs of RAM or less. It used to be possible with Binja if you had between like 32 and 64. Then as we've added ILs, high-level IL, medium-level IL, now it requires even more than that. And so Rusty's going through and basically just finding a whole bunch of places to try to, kind of get some low-hanging fruit, obvious places that we can clean up memory usage and try to find more. So the long-term plan was maybe we'd need to do some serialization to disk, right? So that's kind of like the approach that IDA takes with all those files it makes in your hard drive. Is it's essentially serializing instead of using memory, it's serializing all of its analysis to disk and loading it off there. So it's a little bit slower in terms of like I/O as it's doing its analysis, or if you're scripting over it or whatnot. But it will never run out of memory as long as you have hard drive space, right? You can always kind of serialize stuff there. So that's the advantage to it. And we thought we would have to kind of take an approach like that. But at least for the kind of the milestones that we're looking to set in terms of the performance we want to see, we might not actually even need that, which means we can still get the benefits of kind of being in memory. So Mr. Glass, so the new Windows stuff. Oh, I got you. Yeah, so that's a good question too. Like, what is coming for it? So you can see that if you go to our GitHub page again and go to the milestones link, you can see this is a not exhaustive list, but this is a decent list. In fact, actually, let's remove the. Oh yeah, in this view, the milestone view, it's annoying. You can only see either all closed or all open. You can't just see both. You actually have to go back to issues and then search for like milestone : 3.1 Windows. Is that what it was? No. 3.1. Oh, it's a parenthesis here on Windows. I think it's picky, I believe. So if I do it this, it'll show me both open well, it'll show me open ones now, but I can switch over to just everything. So this will let me see all of the issues, whether they're either open or closed. So these are all of the current things that, in fact, actually this improved database load time, this is also kind of part of it too. The stuff that Rusty was working on, it's not only improving memory, but also just kind of loading performance. So Binja on iPad is not coming anytime soon. This gets asked a lot. For that, I recommend cloud.binary.ninja. It's usable. I've done it before on an iPad. It's not as nice as real Binja, but you can do it. You can actually download a binary to your iPad, upload it to cloud, decompile, analyze, add comments. Actually, comments and types, I think you can do via like the right click. You have to like tap and hold. I forget exactly how you do that kind of part of it on iPad, but that's unfortunately the only option for now. Building just a whole new touch-enabled UI specifically would be just such a headache. And people are not going to pay a lot of money for an iPad version of Binja. It's probably not going to be ever really worth it for us as a company. So, cloud getting better. Oh, on the other hand, cloud is actually on some improvements too. So Josh has actually been working a lot on cloud. And so a number of features that people have asked for on that are going to be starting to come. He's doing some back-end changes to analyze. I feel a little short. Let's see. Let's bring the desk down a little bit. He's been working on a number of changes for that on the back end, but it will also start showing up on some kind of front end stuff too. So, and then Windows types are coming. So Windows types are already in. There's actually decent Windows types already. It just depends on what binary you're looking at. In fact, here's a random one. So let's actually look at this one. I haven't tested this one out in advance. But so is debugger present? Didn't have any type information. So maybe this is gonna prove that was wrong. But here's one. So for example, so like, these are types. I didn't, this wasn't a database that I preloaded or anything. This was just, actually this came from the Lighthouse. I noticed this on my recent list when I opened this up, just as a random file. The Lighthouse plugin has code coverage, and this is a test binary that's included within it. So you'll see like there is type information for at least some of these already on some of these imports here are going to get propagated up. So you can go see these here. But then, there's these over here so MSVCR 120 doesn't? Yeah, that does surprise me. So that's, I guess, to your point, right? And that's, again, the whole push for 3.1 is to really improve these. So actually, that's a good note to myself. That's a good test case. So we'll take a look at that again too after 3.1 makes it further along. So like I said, yes, we've got some stuff. So kernel 32 is loaded, but MSVCR, for example, is apparently not. Stream Deck compatibility. Actually, I have some Stream Deck Binja stuff I was kind of gonna play with, but I didn't bother with it. I mean, the problem with it is really Septarshi. It's not just the like the CPU and the compiling it for it. It's really more of the interface, like getting it to work on a touch interface. That's actually the real pain. And then like the OS and the bundling and some of the other stuff too can be an issue. But the M1 specific stuff was actually not that big a deal. The bigger stuff was like Qt. Qt I think should have good iPad OS support stuff though, so I don't know. Oh, they're here. They're getting trapped by my curtain of doom.
No.
Two of the engineers were at dinner. I was asking them if they wanted to come and RE with me, and they're like, "When we come back, we will."
Started yet?
I haven't started yet. I stalled long enough for you guys to make it back. So I'm just covering the updates. All right, yeah, and let's see what else. Yeah, like a WASM browser version of Binja would be more likely in a lot of ways. Yeah, obviously the debugger also wouldn't work on iPad. That wouldn't happen. But just having the decompiler, like I said, Cloud does that. So you can actually use Cloud on the iPad right now to do that. So that's totally what I would recommend. No Stream Deck. Oh, Steam Deck. Sorry, I missed that. I'm reading comments. I've got like my iPad right next to the camera on like a mount, and so it's too small. So I missed the distinction between Steam Deck and Stream Deck. Yeah. Well, I mean, before Stream Deck, come on. I want Quest. I want like, Rift. I want like 3D Binja. That would be way more fun. Um, so auto comments actually, if I'm understanding you correctly, I think somebody even just filed. I don't think it was auto variable naming. Yeah, exactly, Viera Binja. So if you look under just recent issues, I think there was one here for. Where is it? Yeah, like automatic variable naming. So that's a good example that somebody has a nice written bug report on terms of like a feature that they would like, and it does some of that kind of variable naming stuff that I think you were asking about. Yes, Cloud does have limited file size. This is true. Cool. All right, so let me look up. I did see at least one. So actually, that's right. Up in chat earlier, there was one from Too Many Bananas. I know that person. Let's see. All right. Uh, Too Many Bananas, DAWG CTF 2020 write-ups. Okay. There we go. So let's pull. Oh, wait, what did I do? I hit something to make that full screen. That's fine. It can stay full screen. Depressing to see a tank on your. How do I turn off like start page content in Firefox? Because that's. I don't want sponsored shortcuts. I don't want sponsored stories. I just. Oh, no. I just want to turn off that page. Settings. Start. Can you start blank, please? I'm sure there's a way to do that. Start. Well, let's just do that. Home. Yeah, there we go. Blank page. That's what I want. New pages. Blank page. Yes. Okay. Much better. All right. So here's the write-up request was Dreammaster iPone TikTok or Pone TikTok. Is the Pone category, or is there a separate? There's a reversing category too. Maybe we'll poke around some of those. How do I keep this from going full screen too? I hit a hotkey. How did I do? All right. TikTok Pwn 500. Oh, seriously? You can want me to like do a Pwn 500 on stream? Okay. I don't know that I'm going to have time to do a 500-point pwnable on stream. In fact, I know for a fact that I won't have time to do that. But we could take a look at it and just see what it looks like and do a little bit of the RE for it. Maybe let's try that briefly. An immediate value to a so Mr. Glass, I think what you're asking is like the like if somebody's got an argument passed to a function and you want to replace that constant with like points inflation. I think it's the other way around. If this is a 2020 500 point. If this, I would actually almost consider a 500 point RE challenge from like, or maybe not 500, 300, 400 point challenge might be doable from like when I started playing CTF back like 2001 era, like that I would do. But I don't think it works that way. I don't think it's the other way around. This one was not that long ago. Point inflation is not going to help too much. So back to your other question, Mr. Glass. The ability to replace like something with the value that it represents, like it's an error code or something, and you want error whatever instead of like the number, like Windows. Yeah, Windows does do that a lot. I think that is on the list. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Do I have to type it all again? I bet I do. Milestone. Okay. These are all the closed ones, so just the green ones. I feel like that's one that's come up, so I think so. Oh, hey, look. There we go. That's funny. All right. Oh, this is another one that's actually been making some progress too. So if you're just curious, I don't think we can show it off quite yet, but very close. We might be able to show off import from IDB. Actually, hold on, maybe I can't. Oh, they must have closed the door or have headphones on. Oh wait, they're coming out now. All right, we'll turn the mic back on. We're just talking about, is import from IDB ready to show off?
No. Well, kind of. Functions work, types work, function signatures work,
Comments?
comments don't work, and data bars don't work.
I mean, it's still some stuff. Okay, maybe not today. So maybe in like 2 weeks, let's plan on showing it off.
Yeah, I think because I think good UI as well.
That's fair. I mean, the UI is a file picker, right? It's literally interaction APIs. Yeah, that's true. That's right. That's right. It's always the polish a little bit that takes the most trust.
Eventually.
That's fair.
Yeah, because
Yeah, it is. Yeah. All right. So Python IDB import is not quite ready, but that is also coming. I want to say there's an issue for that. But I'm not seeing it now. I want to make a note of it and I want to follow up afterwards because I'm curious. You can replace things with like enums and it will do like the enum lookup in some situations, but I don't know if that's exactly what you're talking about. There's another feature that I think I wrote down as well. Yeah, full time for it's more than 6 months now. Actually, I think Shusheng has been working on a debugger for probably closer to 9 months at this point, maybe even a little bit more. It's feature complete. He's working on documentation, and he already has the Python API generation done, so the API is exposed now. I mean, it's gonna need some testing, and it needs there's some UI work happening right now on it because we really want the UI to be not just like a recreation of the old one, but like an actual better designed UI. So debugger's coming along as well. So a lot of stuff like kind of in progress. But let's look back at our challenge binary here. So there is this reversing. What is this? DEFCON practice. Elf in the elf. Rev 350. This sounds kind of interesting. I'm actually curious. I'm gonna go play with some of these other ones, even if I don't do that one. Potentially easy. It's a constraint solving crack me. I'm less interested in a constraint solving crack me. That's kind of like it's a good skill set. Okay, put your thing down, flip it, and reverse it. Oh, Missy Elliott reference. So what's the binary distributed solution not distributed? Okay, so if the solution is C, we could take a look at that one too. So let's grab this one as well. So Missy Elliott, we've got Elf in the Elf, which sounded cute. What was distributed? Elves.zip is distributed. Okay, so we'll go grab that. Cool. Hopefully we'll find something fun to do in here. And then the pwn, TikTok. I assume this was a joke, but we'll take a look at it. What was distributed? Executable distributed. Song files were distributed. I'm really curious. Oh, and was the libc distributed? Okay. So TikTok is distributed. libc was distributed. Well, I'm not going to really need that. That's just for the exploit phase of that, presumably. We'd need to know our version of libc. And then songs. I'm curious what this thing is going to do. All right. So there's that. Yes, that does include, so it doesn't include WinDBG support specifically, but the debugger does include Windows debugging. That is absolutely one of the main use cases. I think remote Windows debugging is maybe still in progress though. That may not be in the first release of the debugger. I forget. I'll have to double check. But I remember Shushang mentioning something like that. That I think that's still in progress. So hold on. No, not that. Make that F11. What's the hotkey to make it not full screen? Actually, you know what? Honestly, this is driving me nuts. So I'm just gonna go kill this and then make a new browser. And is it gonna be full screen again? No. Okay, hold on. Zoom. Can I have it not? Ah, there we go. This? No, that definitely did not help. Oh no, that's right. It's not full screen now. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's right. Just restarting it did help. Okay. So, all right, now let's look at some of these binaries we got. We got downloads. What we got? We've got TikTok, Missy Elliott's, Elves. Okay, so first let's let's pretend we've got a real. Let's start with what was the other? Oh, there's one more that I didn't see there. What was the other file? Bananas. Yes, we have no more bananas. All right. The other one was reversing elf and the elf. Oh, potentially easy. Oh, wait. Oh, that's right. That was the Python and the constraint solving one. Put your thing down and flip it was Missy Elliott. We already got that, right? Okay. So let's just start with Missy Elliott. Missy Elliott. Kernel driver debugging is definitely on the not in MVP list. I do remember that. There's, we were talking about ways that we could do something like that. One way you might actually be able to do something like that is with, you can do a remote GDB session to like QEMU, or use something like Tetrain, which has like whole system emulation, where you can bring up an entire Windows VM, and I'm pretty certain they have. So they even have a Binja plugin. And so you can try like the free edition, and then set up remote, like use the, see, where is it? Revan Tetrain Binary Ninja. In fact, actually, so you could get that working here with their plugin. I don't know why the resolution's so low in this video, but yeah, you could use something like that. It's not going to use the native debugging interface though, right? In that case, you're basically just using a different debugger. And same thing would go with like any number of other ones, like using Voltron or something else like that, where you've got like, essentially you have to do some sort of whole system emulation or hypervisor or set up remote Windows kernel debugging. And I think there was some problem with that, but I don't remember the details. So anyway, all right, Missy Elliott's. Let's take a look at that. And you'll notice I've actually got my settings set to default to sudo C. I was kind of playing with that for a little bit. Let me search you. And so if Sterling is equal to, is that like 40 basically? Display as 43. That's interesting. Oh, flip it, reverse it. Are we probably just gonna reverse some string or something like that, maybe? And then we're gonna compare these two things, but that's not 43. So actually, this is a good thing now. Let's talk about this. Like I want to, for example, make a hotkey to convert something to signed decimal. There. So let's make this. Does the D-hotkey apparently is doing something? Oh, can I? There's a way to. Okay, Shift T doesn't just do anything. So let's check my settings and let's change signed decimal to Shift D. Actually, I'm curious if I guess I probably want that unsigned. Actually, I think I can do both. This is what I was going to test. Can I do both? And then it will cycle through it because a lot of the hotkeys will work that way. Yeah, it won't for this particular one, so let's do that anyways. Oops. There's a way to delete it. Clear it? Yeah, no. Or remove. Either one would have worked out. Okay. Well, that's just going to make it be what it already is. Display as I want unsigned decimal. And now if I shift D, it's going to switch it back. Yeah, so I kind of want to be able to like carousel those. Let's do this though. And actually, I want unsigned decimal. They're wrong. All right. So change that mapping. And this actually goes through the, there's a new binge welcome window. I think I've shut off a little bit. And there's the Easter eggs too. You can see little binges. The first 2 pages don't have any binges. And then after that, I snuck in a bunch of bingy images in various poses. But this window only shows up once, like when it changes when you first start. You can also get it from the help menu. But one of the plans for that is to let people choose hotkeys and themes. And so, for example, like matching exactly items hotkeys for changing constants and stuff would be nice. So there's, I'm gonna hit end to call this one wrong. And this one is, I got it right. So we're gonna name that one right. So we've got wrong and right. And so if they're not equal, it's wrong. If they are equal, so in other words, these 2 variables need to be the same. And one's a pointer to itself. Huh, okay. So it's a pointer to itself. And that's a pointer to something actually there. 2008. Okay. Oh, this is all right. So yeah, my guess is this is like a hash or something that they're gonna create take our input and we're gonna produce a hash and then they're gonna compare it to this one probably. In fact, yeah, look at that. So if I just selected it in the UI and down here, like when I've got a current selection, it's gonna show me how big it is. So I was just kind of eyeballing it, being like, hey, I bet that's about 2 C bytes, right? Because that's, and if you include the null, it is. It's like exactly 2 C bytes. So in fact, I can make a variable here, or I could just select this whole thing, and hit 1 to make it a character array, and then hit asterisk, and then it turns it like into like basically a char of whatever length that I had selected, with the null on the end. Now, it's not going to be readable string because it wasn't detected as a string. Because it's obviously not printable and there's no other calls. Like this one here, for example, already has the char const because it's an argument to puts. And so we know that it necessarily must be a string. So it got created as like a real string. But this one, we could just select them all, hit 1, and asterisk to turn it into an array of others. So we could have, let's see. Oh, there we go. In fact, now you'll see now we've got a pointer here too, right? So this contains a pointer, and then this contains a pointer to itself because it's going to presumably just get populated with like the data that we're going to write in, I assume. So actually, in fact, better. Let's go back. Let's look at the cross references down here, right? So we've got a code reference to it here, and so finalize. That's not what I expected. Data references. 40. Oh, okay. 40 and 410. 410 is a pointer to that. Let's call this like hash, maybe. So that's a pointer to hash. Hash pointer. This, I don't really know what that one is yet. But then this is the actual, this is probably user hash is my guess, or user. So in fact, we see a bunch of cross references to it too. I'm not looking at the Ukraine wiper yet. I started with another one. I need to actually get that hash. This one's going relatively quick. There's not a lot to actual RE in it, so I don't think it's going to last very long, and then we're never going to get to something much more challenging. So if we just look at our code references here. We can also like pin the cross references here. And can we? Let's see. I think there is. Can't resize that last one, unfortunately. It's kind of a, oh, it's a bug, just annoying. I want to be able to do that. And yeah, so we can see we're like loading a byte at a time. And this is a good example where, for me anyway, like the decompiler doesn't actually help me. Like this is not more readable when it's just like a bunch of junk like this, which makes sense because this is like a kind of hash function or like byte swapping function probably. So I would just hit control backspace and bring up, you know, like disassembly, or maybe just low level IL is probably pretty good. Although I have some options on that I need to turn off. Advanced show stack pointer value. Yeah, I was messing with that a while ago, so that's kind of distracting. I don't really care about opcode bytes, and I also don't really care about the address on the IL view. I could leave it on either way. So oh right, I usually turn that off too. Tooltips. I prefer not to have the tooltips pop up on me. And that's a good example. I can use that shifty hotkey, right? So if that's less than 20, and what is this thing actually? This is an old CTF. This is allowed, Marcus. This is not, although, you know, it's funny. You'll notice, you might recognize this one. It was the first thing I opened actually was this file. I just needed something to look at, and Boombox was one that was there. So, okay, right. So we know this is check hash. So let's back up again, right? So we've got this "Let me search ya," which I assume is a lyric from like a Missy Elliott song or some spoof on it, which is where they're getting that from. And then sure enough, yeah. So we already labeled that user just based on what was checking it later. And we're gonna read, you know, 44 bytes into this user variable. We're gonna make sure it's exactly 43 bytes long. So we're gonna read in like up to one more for the new line. I think F gets terminates on a new line, right? And then if I cared, I would just go man it, but I'm pretty sure it's fine. And then we've got like just these bare calls, which is probably real. Like there's no actual arguments or anything going on here. So this is, I'm going to name this variable I, because this is clearly just sort of a loop counter. And we're going to go 42 characters over that. And then this is, yeah, I'm going to go with like, that's actually, I want to look at this in medium of IL might be nice. Let's try that. Let's see what medium of IL shows. And actually, yes, medium of IL graph view. Oh, sorry. I think I missed some of the chat. I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's good reasons to be analyzing kernel modules and debugging them for sure. Wiper would be a good example. So our little for loop is, so this is our counter, and then we're probably just going to use this as like an offset, right, into our user data, right? Is what we expect. We're taking the not of just that byte, right? So we write a byte here. And actually, just for kicks, let's go back and look at disassembly. I'm curious if this is easier. Yeah, like so in this particular case, I think probably disassembly is a pretty decent view. And again, I probably could use I just to quickly do that. But for something like this, I prefer graph view. I think that is actually more intuitive than like trying to parse out all the pointer casting and all that stuff. Which I'm curious, you know, like maybe IDA would have produced something even cleaner and simplified some of those casts away. I'm actually kind of curious, just for kicks. I'm gonna go. I don't think I even have Ghidra on this VM. Ghidra run. No, I mean, if it's not in my download folder, it's not there. I'm gonna go grab Ghidra and just for kicks. I want to see how it handles handles that. I'll have to install the JVM. We'll let that go in the background. We're kind of manually looking at it. Okay. No, there's no way to hide casts. That's a good question. In fact, I don't even know if I've seen that. I don't even know if I've seen that on the feature request list yet. But that's a good question. No, the plan for like max line length, well, it could be related feature, is the ability to like split things out manually, like select something. I think from talking to Rusty a while ago, it was like to select something and just be like, you know, prevent folding. Or you could look at it back in like medium of Lyell, which inherently doesn't have all of that kind of folding. But that's not as nice. There should be no difference actually. This is actually a good example too, where I think high level Lyell is much cleaner, right? Because instead of like the casts and stuff, you can just see like pointer reference, sign extend keyword, zero extend D word, not, right? And so that's actually probably the cleanest. That's actually readable to me. But again, some people probably would think the same thing with the C and the casting. But it's basically just going to read out. Is it really just knotting it though? Like that's all it's doing, right? It's just going to knot the byte. Yeah, like. Well, hold on though. This moves the X here though. Oh no, it's byte. Yeah, it moves X byte. Yeah, so it's just literally going to do a bytewise knot. If you gotta, let me search. Yeah, yeah. Yes, like I said, that was my guess. I assumed it was something like that. All right, so this is literally just gonna like flip bits, right? In the whole string. And then this is probably the next one that we call right here. Yeah, it's basically the last one. And this one is going to be a little bit more interesting. So there's more going on here. So again, we've just got loop counters. So we're going to make that I. We're going to convert this to decimal. And is this the value that's being written back out? Yeah, it's going to store it. So this is our like temporary byte, you know, that we're going to write back out. And yeah, I mean, this is interesting. The 8 is greater than the counter. Interesting. So like, I feel like it should always put the constant on the right, but I'm curious. That just to me is weird that it's different between those two. Oh, that's a great suggestion. Yeah, Dank, that's too bad. It doesn't do that. I know there's probably I feel like a JavaScript bookmarklet or something that can pull that out. Like it's probably got to be in the browser so you can create timestamps. But yeah, how else are you going to be able to call out when somebody like you know self-censored themselves, or we switch topics? Yeah, exactly like Twitch clips. That would be really nice. So I mean, this is the part where like it just becomes like a reverse the algorithm implementation. This is clean enough that like, right? This is although I am curious though, like all of these. So the outer loop is over like the whole length of the string, all 42 bytes. the inner loop is doing, is it just gonna do 8? Like, are these gonna do larger? Oh, 8 bits. It's just gonna do some bitwise operation on it, right? It's just gonna like mask off. We shift it 1. So like, right. Yeah, 1 shifted by, yeah, this is gonna produce a bit at whatever from 0 to 7. So the bit mask is, and then we AND it, so we're pulling at the bit at that position. Are we inverting all the bits? Yeah, we invert all the bits, and then does this do anything interesting? I'll call this one L. L is less than 20, so this is the last transformation that happens. I don't. Right. Are we just, yeah, like flipping it, reversing the whole string. So we're knotting it, we're flipping the bits, then we're flipping the bytes, right? I think that's the whole. I don't think you like. I totally agree. Exactly. Like this is a crack me once it reaches here. Normally you would just like anger it and let it do it for you. But in this particular case, I actually think we're basically done. Like it literally, it flips bits by like, knotting each bit. It flips the bits in terms of like writes them, left to right, right to left in each byte, and then it flips each byte and does them. So it basically is just gonna like take. The other way to do this would be to like not all of the bits. So actually here, we can probably do this. Hold on, let's do this statically, right? So where was our little like thing that we called hash? Let's go to hash. Right. So our hash thing is here. Can I don't remember if I can just select this. And I think if I copy, oops, I always hit that button. Control C, Control N, Control V. Yeah, look at that. I think it just gives me all these bytes. So literally what I want to do is turn this into like no, why does it have extra backslashes? Oh, yeah. No, when I copied it, yeah, okay, hold on. Paste from escaped, right? Paste from escaped. So actually, we could reverse the bytes that way. That's funny. Well, at least once I have it in regular one, but paste from escape string, right? ASCII escape string. There we go. So there's the actual. Wait, is that? Hold on, that's not right. Oh, this only gave me this the bottom half. Okay. Hold on. So let's from escaped string. Okay. And then we'll just put this at the end. And now this should be 2 D bytes. Does that sound right? 2 C bytes, right? That looks about right. Let's go back to Missy Elliott. And then the null. That's close. Yeah, 2C plus null. Okay. So what we want to do is turn this into bits and knot them all and then write them out the other direction. It's like you just turn them into bytes. You could actually, for each, so we could do this like the Python lame way, right? That's just going to be, actually, I think I could do current selection. I could do byte b is equal to bb.read current selection. Does this just work like that? No. Yeah, you have to do current selection. Read current selection 0, current selection 1. Yeah. Is that right? This would be just a quote. Yeah. Right. Okay. So yeah, now we've got for b in chur. Let's actually just reverse the bytes from here. And this is so janky, right? C is equal to binary of B. Hold on. So B sub 0 binary. There's probably a way better way to reverse the bits, but I could just do this. Colon 2 colon -1. No, I want stepping -1. Is that gonna work? 2 colon -1. I don't think it's gonna what I want. Is that what I want? 0 1. Except I want 1 there, and that is what I want. Yeah. Python slicing is so janky. So for the byte in hold on, CHR. No, that's not what I wanted. So I want for A in B. B was my character array. C is equal to the binary of that. And then I think, is it just rev? Is that what it is? What's the... There's a way to reverse a string. Oh, I'll do my array slicing again. Right. So, and then I think I can just do C is equal to chur of int of colon -1. So the binary, oh no, this is what I wanted. I wanted 1 -1. Right. So this is going to give me the bits of each byte, and then this is going to reverse them. And then let's see. XKCD 153. Let's look at that. Oh, yeah. Flip it, reverse it. I got it. That's funny. All right. I mean, this is, I think, definitely a 150-point challenge. Like, that's fair. So, oh, I forgot to, okay, hold on. Int of the int, I need to pass in 2. Close. Close. Okay, it seems close anyway. So I might have missed something. We could also have done, is it print with a comma at the end to get rid of the end? Yeah, I can't remember though. I thought you could just put a comma at the end. Oh, end equals. Okay. So this feels close. So we're starting from the byte at the end of our sequence. Oh, did I forget to knot it? I did, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Okay. That's what I forgot. Let's see. Is there a dirty way to do this? Exclusive OR it with FF when it's still an integer? Maybe? Is that not too dirty? D is equal to C XOR OXFF. And then print D. Let's do this. Oh, and then I forgot to chur it back. I'm doing something wrong still. I'm done with like the actual RE part. I think I may have missed something. List reversed. Oh, reversed. I tried rev and it's reversed. Yeah, thank you. That was what I wanted. So I'm calling reversed on it. Yeah, the full reverse would have also done it. Array slicing is a few characters less, but reversed is definitely makes it look less like Perl. I'm fairly done with this though, in my opinion. Though I think I did miss some part of the transformation, maybe. But I don't think this is a good use of binge at this point. This is just Jordan solves CTF challenges. So, but I do think this is flip bits. This is reverse bits. Oh, there is one other change. Did this? I don't remember if this landed on dev or not. But the type parser now allows for arbitrarily weird. Hold on. So I think if I do this before, yeah, there it is. So this is actually worth pointing out. This was a really nice change that happened in the last couple of weeks. One of the problems that we've run into, and I mentioned this earlier, like the type parser, was it was kind of picky. Part of the reason it was picky was because it couldn't handle symbols like numbers at the beginning of symbols, and there's a bunch of other things that it wouldn't let you do. But these backticks you'll notice here let you put in any arbitrary string in here, even including like emoji, into the type parser, and it will happily like consume it, which means we can escape the input into it and let the type system handle all sorts of stuff that are like non-standard. So the back end, the core type system of Binja, like if I just name something, I could have always put an emoji into the UI of Binja itself. So that was always fine, but using the parse APIs, that would not work previously because it's like, this is not a valid symbol in C, and it's right, it's not a valid symbol in C, but there's other languages where it is a valid symbol, so maybe you want to allow it. And so Glen did a really, really nice change. I was gonna say hack, but that's not what I mean. It's like not actually a hack. It's actually really, really clever and works super well. Kind of work through it, but you can see it. Like I said, when I hit Y, you see these backticks. So, and of course, if you want an actual backtick, you just put a backslash on it, and you can put backticks inside of it, and it kind of behaves like you'd want. Among other things, this fixes a whole bunch of classes of like my type won't round trip, right? So you could have, for example, in fact, let's demonstrate this. Let's show this. If I run Binja stable and I pull up a binary, same one, and then I name it, I can name it test : or test : test. That's fine. But as soon as I hit Y, I can't parse it. And you're like, but Binja, you told me this was the type. Like, why can't you parse it? It's because that's an invalid character. And it's right, that's not like a valid C spec type, but I don't care. Your type system can handle it. The UI should be able to handle it. And now it can, right? So now on the latest dev, if you hit Y here, it's got these back quotes and yay, everything works. Yep, and exactly. I already guessed your question, and you can just escape backticks by putting a backslash in it the way you'd expect. Yep, exactly. So yeah, that's actually a really, really nice feature. And I want to check, I think Glen should have gone and closed there was a bunch of like issues with type round tripping. So if I sort by recently updated and I look at the closed ones, do we see those as closed? Types can't round trip. Yeah, exactly. There we go. So good work, Glen. And actually another one here. There's been several. Again, this is something that came up a lot, and it's now very nicely handled. Although, if Glen, if you're watching, is in the other room, I could just go bug him. We got to add this to the milestone for 3.1 so people can see that. Anyway, yeah, that's cool. That's the first time I was running into that in the wild and thinking about it. Very nice. So let's kill that. And all right, yeah, I'm done with this one. Let's go ahead and look at, I don't know how much progress we'll make, but I'm more energized than I thought I would be today. So let's go to the malware. Actually, we could just look at the answer here and see and also the solutions and see. Yeah. So reverse it and flip it. Yeah, they did exactly the same thing. XOR with FF. So something with my bit flipping might be different, but like this. Oh, hold on, I didn't do this step. Yeah, whatever this was. No, this is the byte swapping. Yeah, this is where it actually moves. This is where it just moves the bytes back and forth. So our analysis was correct. If this is a solution, then I think I'm gonna consider that pretty solved. So yeah, let's move on to let me see. Oops. Let me grab that hash. And let's take a look at that wiper binary and see how we do with that. Okay. So let's go to mal share. Although actually, I'm gonna log in with my API key off stream and grab that binary. But just so y'all can at least see, that's the site I was using, and here's the hash we're gonna be using. So ain't no robot. Yeah, mountains or hills. That's awfully like, is that a mountain or a hill? I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. That's what I get for using like a browser that doesn't do real stuff very often. So here's, oh, I can download it without even be logged in? Or is it gonna make me, it's gonna make me log in, right? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So I'm gonna do it on my other machine, which didn't get a real CAPTCHA. The reCAPTCHA was like, yeah, no, I know you're a human. Where is my... Huh. I don't have my API key on this machine, so let me go grab that. Okay. All right, I'm logged in. Actually, hold on. I can do this. I can do this in this browser off. I don't think it shows you your API key once you're logged in. So let me just hide the screen and log in with my API key here. Save ourselves the trouble of pulling it in. Cool. All right. So yeah, mechanical null. I actually intentionally, when I fill out a CAPTCHA, I like move my mouse randomly in weird ways just because I feel like I want to feel human to it, and I'm sure they're doing like mouse tracking and stuff. So, and like hesitation too. I try not to do them like super fast, even if I think I know it quickly. All right, so I didn't notice. I think the file downloaded. Yep, there's the hash. Okay, now I have not actually seen anybody else talk about this one at all. Oh, that's funny. What is this garbage? This Lighthouse plugin is throwing an error when I open this file? Like, what is this trash? Actually, I probably just have to, I'm only saying that because Marcus is on the stream, or at least he was earlier. Hold on. Before I make too much fun, I should probably check if there's an update. It might actually be, oh, okay. That's interesting. That might actually be something Lighthouse needs to fix. So I was assuming I had just had an old version. Let's disable it. Since we're not going to need it for this one anyways. And oops. Restart Binja. Oh man, I know exactly. Like, prove to me you are human. All right, so I should probably like actually look up a little bit, but let's just take a look at this. Oh, I thought I had Serve on. Clearly something didn't, because I can get stuff, but all right. So these, yeah, so see again, like Shellwappy, some of these I know. All right, so looking at the types, we can just see really easily like ADV API, kernel 32. I know we have Shellwappy have done them before. So this is a good first test. Like first, I want to be able to pull in the type information for these types, right? So what I want to do is I could get the full signature library, or I could just pull in, like, there's not that many. So this is actually the kind of like the lazy way to do it. So let's just try this real quick and see how well this works. That's 132. It should be the same. And actually, I'm curious. Hey, Fox, welcome. We already have, yeah, so because we've already got these types loaded, can we just set, let's see. Win64. Actually, is this 64-bit? I didn't even check that. BB.arch. No, it's 32-bit. Okay. Well, great. We're going to run into, yeah, so we're definitely going to want to get these types because, again, the call parameter resolution on Binja is going to do badly because Windows 32-bit, it's up to the function you call to clean up the stack. All right, so the stack cleanup is handled by the callee, not the caller. Normally, right, when you, like, for example, if we look at one of these calls, and then we pull up, like, the disassembly, normally, like on other architectures, like if you've got arguments on the stack, you'll see like, you know, the stack being, you know, you've got pushes, you'd either see pops or you'd see like add, you know, ESP to clean it up. Nope, not on Windows 32-bit. And so the caller or the callee, the function you call is the one responsible for cleaning up after itself. It's going to do like a return with like a red end where it actually specifies the size of the stack when you return. And so if you don't have type information for an import in particular, like if it's a function that's in this binary, that's fine, right? Like this function here, if you're going to do a return, like, you know, and the call, if the, like here, there's a great example right there, like red end 4, right? This function here, like I know what the cleanup of the stack is, so it means I know how many arguments it has. So anytime I see this function called, which it's just as an argument to something else, so it's this method here. You know, those are yeah. So it's like create thread. So it's creating a thread with this function, but we know how many arguments it takes. We know what the parameters are, which is really nice. So the real problem comes when we're calling a function. I mean, it's always nice to have types. You always want them, and it's good. But it just will really mess up your analysis on 32-bit Windows if you don't have type information because you don't know how many arguments they have, and that's the main problem beyond just even not knowing the types. So I could like at a very very kind of like coarse way, I could literally just get the number of arguments right. Int h file. So this is actually, hold on. Where is the type information being? Oh. Pull it here. There we go. So if I, yeah, so this is like the syntax of these imports here. So I'm just going to go grab sleep, for example. I'm going to copy that. And now I'm going to change close, which I saw had one argument as well, and it was just int h file. So right here, right? So it's int h file. And so I'm going to, I don't remember which token to specify in the other one, so we'll just do it there. And this was lz close. And it's in int. So that I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we'll try it. Hey, look at that. And there we go. Okay, so at least manually I can do that. So we do support cdecl. I can specify a cdecl calling convention, but the issue is if it's an import, that doesn't help you. Just saying it's cdecl doesn't help you. You still have to know how many arguments it has, right? Otherwise, you still can't clean up the stack appropriately in your analysis. You can't adjust what the stack pointer would be after calling that function. Oh, but so yeah, should this actually be marked as cdecl or the standard call? I always have to double check that. So you cannot change the variable naming convention currently. If you have more specifics though of what you'd like to see, definitely let us know. Okay, yeah, so these are standard call. Thank you. All right, so we've got lz copy, which I'm gonna guess takes. So again, I probably shouldn't be doing these like by hand. These should be, yeah, just a source in the dest. That's kind of what I expected. It was source then dest, right? And then open file probably, let's see, actually probably just get a reference list. So just take a single parameter, which is, oh no. Oh yeah, of course. So let's do this. Can I, so let's try this now. Let's see if we can actually copy this. And let's try this. So type is equal to, that was a poor choice of names. So we're going to call this T. And we're going to get rid of this in out, obviously. And we might, so we should already have, because we've already loaded the other Windows types. Like I tried, what was it? I tried one of the settings earlier just to make sure that we do have some of those Windows types in there. We did. Right, so now T contains my text string. So I should be able to do bv.platform.parse types from source. And I can just give it T. Oh, LP of struct is not in here. So I've got in my types, I've got some of them, but like I don't have LP of. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm missing like some of this still, which is again, that's why you really want this to be built in, and why improving the Windows types is on the list. But we can probably just go grab it. Okay, so LP, I see, I never do Windows reversing. I think this is like, there's a convention that just means it's just a pointer, right? Like p off struct means it's a pointer to it. I think that's all they're doing on it. Welcome, Nameless. Yep. So we're giving it a try out for Wiper. It's at least partially an excuse for me to do some like Windows RE2, which I don't do a lot of. 32-bit in particular. Yeah, so cduckle's already in there. It's standard call. Yeah. Thank you, Sergey. Oh, is a. See, this is why they don't let me write the real stuff inside of Binja Core, because like I said, my Twitter bio is correct. I am the worst developer and reverser on the team. So let's see. Obstruct. So yeah, this is not gonna parse as is. I know that because oh, this is one of the bugs actually that we haven't fixed from last time Sergey was doing it too, which is specifically the error. Yeah, it raises an error string, but doesn't actually show you where in the parsing it failed. Like I don't think it gives you the actual message of what the parse failed at. So yeah, I mean, one way to do this is I just really don't have to worry about that. I could instead just go, I want my mouse backup button to work. Yeah, let's offset structure. I could just ignore that for now and just give it something bogus. So wait, this one was, sorry. Let's see, open file A. And we've got a LP file name, which is LP. All caps. And we'll make this just an int. and then W styles a word. Man, I'm really brain fried because there. No, word is not actually in there. Whatever. Hold on. Oh. No? Oh. Ah, I'm flailing. I'm flailing. All right. I'm just gonna make that an int, and then the last one was just word W style. Okay. I know. I gotta just be able to like load them all directly. Oh, I mean, ultimately we should just have better built-in ones too. So that's the other thing. Yeah, the two features are one, like an import feature, and then that. Definitely need that. For the rest of these, I'm gonna just really quickly like get the number of arguments and get them set right because that's good enough. So like that takes 2 arguments. All right. And now let's see. I thought there, so can I check the built-in type libraries? Let's see. CD type lib, CD x86, and then it's platform, right? So, okay. So there is a shellwapy. So like there is an x86 shellwapy DLL. Why is that type library not loaded? I thought that was one of them that we had. Let me see. I'm actually kind of curious. Hello and welcome, Sean. All right, sorry, I was catching up there. So yeah, shellwapy, like it absolutely should be in there. Just for kicks, I kind of want to go back through now and yeah, see this by the way is the warning you're gonna see when arguments are wrong, like when Midget doesn't know. When it doesn't know the what functions are being called, like how many arguments they have, like get last error. In fact, this is even a good example. Some of these don't have types, even though they are otherwise known. Most of the libraries in there, but not all of them are. So I don't know. That's another good question. So that's gonna really throw off analysis. Let me see here. So I'm just curious. Let me go back. So let me look at like just a kind of an overview of UA Wiper. If somebody wants to chime in chat. Like I know there's a bunch of people who've been talking about it. This was a not ransomware, right? It was just a Ukraine wiper malware. So yeah, GameLine, like those snippet, like that API is a thing. Like there is literally already bv.platform.parse. In fact, actually, there's a plugin even that does this. In fact, type. We could go give that a try too. But the problem there is I'll show it off real quick. Import header file. There we go. So it's import. No. What's the name of the? Let's see. Is that supposed to be an animated image? That import header file. Yeah. So, oh, I'll probably have to be on a binary view header file. Yeah. So I can do this already. But the problem is going to be. So like, let's say shellwapy.h. Is there like an actual like just .h that it will give me, or is it going to make me like parse it out? I know there's better ways to. Win10 SDK. So here's the problem you're going to run into. Yeah, so yes, there is a way to import header files. But if you look, like header files are rarely just like if it was just a simple like totally self-contained thing, that would be fine. But like look, there's all these like if there's gonna be if defs, there's pragmas and define, there's a bunch of like preprocessor directives, there's a whole bunch of stuff you have to be able to handle. And the current type parser that we're using is just a little more bare bones. And so like yeah, there's no like simple like so you could another thing you could do then is you could try to like get like Clang or something else to actually pre-process it and produce a single sort of unified header file, and that can work, and that's the approach that was taken by Ryan's plugin, binge load headers, right? So what this particular plugin tries to do, and it's just I haven't used it in a long time, was or is this the one that this one didn't use Clang. This one I think just tried a bunch of like normalization things. So yeah, it tries to like Lex and parse and like just do a bunch of like preprocessor cleanups. Again, though, I kind of mentioned this earlier. All this goes away once we switch to Clang to be able to import type system. Which let Clang parse everything in the type header and then have its resulting types. As long as we can handle Clang types into the binge type system, like we're done. That's just the much better fix. So like I said, Glen's actively working on that now, and that will make that process just a whole lot easier because then you're not fighting the type parser to do that. Because like yeah, like I could actually here. So the showwappy is probably not a terrible way though to do. This is interesting. What is this function doing? This one's a bit odd. I'm just checking for that range of bytes. Sorry. This is the downside is I'm still like not good at RE while stream in particular. It takes up too much of my brain for me to focus. Yes, this fix is definitely coming in 3.1. The Clang stuff that I was mentioning. At least I think. Sorry, I mute the mic when I yell. I think he's in the very back room. It's a little far away. All right, let me just go ask him really quick. I'll be right back. But yes, I'm pretty certain it's actually like there we go. Hey, so we had a question. I was discussing. So I showed up, by the way.
Yeah.
Already you're escaping, which well done.
Yeah,
It's great. Close a bunch of bugs there. In fact, we were like that might be like the highest ratio of like closed bugs to like code that we've had in a while.
Don't worry, because the Clang one is fixing that. It's a lot more code than bug fixing.
The Clang is the other way around, but it's going to be super nice though. Like it so that was the next question then, as I was talking about the Clang fixes, because we're working on a Windows binary and there's a lot of type stuff that's either so the two things are one, the type library should just work, right? And even for example, like the ones that we've got kernel 32, but like half them don't load apparently. Cool. So that's kind of not great.
Windows in general do a lot of weird type defs and macros and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So no type defs or macros in Windows headers are not great. So like for example, I pulled up shellwappy.h and went to just like pull in types, and it's like a mess. So like I could pull up specific functions and pull them in, but that's its own special bit of pain.
That's gonna be fun with Clang as well though, because Microsoft has a whole bunch of extensions that they use.
Yeah.
Which Clang will support.
Yes.
Like you can compile for targeting Windows with Windows headers with Clang.
Yeah. How much can you guys hear Glen at all? Or should I move the mic a little bit? I don't know. Like, and the mic usually noise isolates, so I don't know how well y'all can hear
I
him,
can
but
speak up.
we can make him yell. So I guess the overall question though is like, the question was, is it going to come for 3.1? I said almost certainly. Like, you're
Probably.
actively working on it, but
Yeah.
unless it like turns out to be a million times harder than we expect, and it gets bumped or something. But
Yeah.
what's like the current overall like approach, or like, I mean, do you have any kind of?
So current approach is parse source files with Clang.
Yeah, here, come closer.
Yeah, okay.
You don't have to be on camera if you don't want, but you can.
Is that the camera?
The camera's here.
Alright.
Here, like as long as you're like,
I got the field
look,
of view.
you got a whole like up to here.
Look at the
I
thumbs.
can't see the J.
Wow.
See there? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Current approach is parsing the source files with Clang. Is basically you put them into Clang, and Clang gives you a whole bunch of like declarations and types and stuff out. Currently, I'm working on getting the actual types out of Clang and putting them into Binja types. Clang has a lot of types that we don't really do anything with. So it's a lot of just like, all right, now you got to implement 85 switched cases one at a time for each type of type.
And are they like types that
Some
you
of
just have to map to our type system
Yeah,
essentially? It's not like that we can't support it. It's just going to be like a
some of them are
combination
stuff we
of-
don't support where they're like, oh, this is an Objective-C selector.
Sure.
And we're like, don't care.
Yeah.
But some of them are like, yeah, here's a function with a prototype. Here's a function with no prototype. You know, here's a KNR style function with no return or arguments or anything. And you go, wow, you know, they got to support it.
It could happen. Yeah.
Yeah. But, yep, so working on that. I've been doing a lot of custom attribute stuff recently. So, like, I just added one where you can put the calling convention
That's
with
right.
a string next to the function.
Yeah.
Because Clang has like 20 or so conventions that they know that they're hard coded in an enumeration, and they can do those. But Binja is like, hey, what if the user could make their own convention and call it whatever they wanted? You know, Unicode Snowman. So
Yeah. And so the other goal too is the round tripping, right?
Yes.
The fact that like Binja can produce a custom calling convention, then Clang needs to be
Clang
able to
needs to
parse
parse
it back
that.
out. So yeah, making sure we can round trip.
yeah.
Makes sense. One question was, it's all MSVC. Is all of MSVC supported by Clang?
I'm not sure what the official status is, but I've had very good results cross-compiling Windows binaries with Clang, even on Mac OS
Yeah.
and Linux. You can give it like a -f MS extensions, and then they go, oh yeah, we support DeclSpec now,
Interesting.
and you know, DLL export and all that stuff.
Okay.
It
So should like
hopefully the way this API is set up is you give it a bunch of command line arguments that you would give Clang if you were going to invoke Clang yourself.
it's not actually going to exact, like it's just
Yeah.
going to like
all the
the
entry
library,
points
but-
into Clang's library use the command line arguments because
oh, interesting.
that's how it's set up. So
Fair.
bn parse Clang types -ff ms extensions.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd be able to specify like the Binja, like no return, stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the same syntax, and then Y enter will just always work. And also, we also have Clang's regular and everything else that they can already support that gets them mapped into our type system. So
Yeah,
that'll be really nice. Yeah.
it's an actual real parser that supports all the very strange things that you can do with C.
And
C++.
it's not us then chasing
Yeah.
the parsing, but we could just update, as long as we've got our
And
changes.
Yeah, it's like a set of patches
Yeah.
on top. So if
Yeah.
they have bug fixes, we can get those bug fixes, which is going to be very nice.
Yep, it makes a ton of sense. And so I haven't looked at, like, I know IDA even switched and added Clang parsing, and
Yeah.
I think it's just 7.7, right? It's pretty
They
recent, I
have
think.
Clang parsing. I think it was in 7.6. It's in a different dialogue that you have to know about.
Yes, it's not on by default either, too, which I also thought
Yeah.
was
Ben Mason
interesting,
subscribed
but-
to the channel.
So yeah, like I think like maybe they may have just done like a bare bones like wired up directly too, as
Yeah.
opposed to like what you're doing where you're making everything round trip and all that. So that may be why they didn't enable it. I don't know. Maybe
I'm
they
not
did
sure.
actually map it all.
I
But
haven't looked into their.
I'm not sure what the difference
implementation.
is. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Well, thank you for that.
That's the status of that.
That's coming. So that would make obviously like importing something like this significantly easier. Like again though, even with that, you still got to deal with things like defines, like what definer you're gonna like have your shell-lappy use for some of these like if defs. So you got to figure out stuff like that. But let's see. Yeah, so I mean, but I could still take that probably and then just paste it right in. So we could, what am I missing? Oh, is that right? Void center call const. Oh, ins and outs again. Yep. Ah, there we go. See, Glen can answer for himself directly on stream. Yeah, so we can copy out the header file and do that for all of them. Oh, sorry. Was I really loud when I came back? Did you like turn it up to hear Glen and then like I yelled out? I apologize for I should have just actually had him join the stream directly, like from his desk. And then done it that way. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, like get y'all listening to Glen's volume level, and then that was mean. It's actually one reason that I usually wear headphones too. Although actually it's actually worse. I usually yell louder when I've got headphones on. All right, so let's go back to working on this actual thing. So I'm really curious. I have no idea what the actual function of this piece of malware is in the printf this into here, and it's the argument to this. Create the file. So, oh, here we go. Device IO control. Yeah, so actually, let me see here. So there is type information for this device IO control, which is nice. But what we really want is this control code. This is what I think you were mentioning earlier, somebody on stream was pointing out, but wait, automated subscription announce? Like, what is even doing that? That was unintended if it happened. Like, I'm really confused now. Did I do have this. I wonder if that's a Streamlabs thing. I don't wonder if I'm not curious. I'll have to go look at my Streamlabs settings. All right. Sorry about that. I'll go check that out. So I think yeah, the one comment earlier was specifically on being able to replace like constants with like, and this is probably the case, like WIO control code. So I'm curious. For loosely control code, see remarks. Yes, I would like to see the remarks. Where are remarks? Remarks. So, wait, do I have to pull up specific? It's going to be like disk management control codes or file control codes, probably, right? Oh yeah, why would we give you an enum? Nah, we're going to make you click every... Really? Like, it's so not helpful. MSDN, thank you. I wonder if I can get like a real WinIOSUTL. Oh, we went to full screen again. I hit the hotkey, whatever it was. Yeah, this is probably a Streamlabs thing. Sorry about that, everybody. No, what was the... IO control code. IO control code for storage devices. Oh, interesting. Okay, so is this yeah, so it's gonna mask at different bit alignments. So what we really want, this is interesting. So what we really want to do is to be able to basically decode one of these codes as like by pulling out the different bits and then mapping them back to these enums or whatever constants, whatever. Okay, interesting. So yeah, like so for example, this is what we want to be able to do. I'm just trying to think of ways that we could, how would we handle this? I mean, one way is we could script up something that would pull this. Okay, so let's walk through like a little bit of a what I would do to do all this because I've got these control codes here and like what are the other arguments to this thing? No, wrong one. And whatever hotkey I hit, it's because when I switch back and forth between Linux and Macs, I'll hit the command key a bunch, and then it does something weird like full screen my browser. Make it not full screen, please. Oh, did that do it? That did it. Okay, that was the right button. That's right. Can I use Binding Ninja on BO2 stream? I don't know what BO2 stream. I'm not sure I know what that is. Oh, Black Ops 2? No. I'm not going to be reversing games on stream. One, just don't want to deal with it. And two, I try to only do kind of like smaller RE tasking on stream, but yeah, macros from an enum, that makes sense. Also, I feel like you're kind of bringing over some of the OA Labs memes. Like I'm wondering if the game reversing is from that. Yeah, exactly. undo battle eye. Please see. At least I am purely static, and therefore, like if something's unpacked, I'm just like go use unpack me or go do something else. Run it somewhere else. That's not what we typically focus on. Is the Solid Cube the open source one? Um, Is that the one that actually has? No, I mean just in general, like games don't make great. I'm not going to be the one to reverse games on stream for Vector 35. There might be a time where we do, and it would be definitely somebody else. But oh, that's fine. I will have no problem telling people that I'm not gonna help them build their game cheats. There have been people building the game cheats in the Binding Ninja Slack and getting some help. And like in terms of general RE, you know, the Slack will happily kind of help you with stuff. But it's a good learning experience. We wouldn't want to deprive you of that process. All right, so device IO control. We've got a bunch of arguments, and actually we've already got all these. Again, if we just look in here, we can see they are properly. And this is also a good example where I'm actually going to change my settings because I want to make let's see. IL view. I want to change my default IL view to high level IL. This is a great example, right? So I've mentioned this a couple times before. So this is like the pseudo C view. Oh, let's leave that one, but linear. Yeah. Great. Linear? Did I spell it wrong? There we go. I spelled it wrong. I want to find there we go. Default IL for linear. Let's just go for high level IL instead. And I want to have for UI.view.graph. This assembly is fine. Okay. So the reason I changed that, and the reason I'm going to switch this here back to high level IL, can be visible right here. So I'm actually going to close down the graph because this is going to get even longer, which it would be nice if it line wraps. So I think I made that note. Yeah. It would be nice if we have better like line wrapping options. But this is why I really like this. Instead of having to look up the names of these parameters, high level IL just shows them to me because it doesn't need to meet C syntax. Well, hopefully, we'll give you better options technically too. So I think Again, we fully know that we have like some improvements to types in particular. There's some smaller decompiler stuff as well that we really want to add, but let's do this though, right? So I've got this device IO control. So we can do for something like bb.get code refs here. And let's just look at it as a list. Or, so this is a generator because it's going to be more performant. But there's also a really nifty plugin called hex integers, which has an update available. Update and enable. And if I don't even know if I have to restart binge. I probably do because this one mucks with the, and let's save our analysis database, sure. This will change our console here so that we can see generators. It just shows us the results. It changes the REPL. I've mentioned this a bunch, but if you're new to the stream. So this is actually just the linear view, right? What I'm looking at now is it's just any of the IL views in linear view. I just happen to be down here in this our data probably. Yeah, the our data section where we've got all of the actual imports in the binary, and you can just see the types that are kind of applied to them. This is where these imports for this particular file are going to be called through. So if I wanted to look at that, let me go back. Yeah, device IO control. So because they're yellow, you can see that they're imports. Like if you're looking through the list here, this blue function is a built-in function, and the yellow one is going to be an import. But if we actually look at the disassembly, let's just do it in graph view, you'll see that it's going to do a call deref, right? So it's got a pointer to this offset here in our data, and it's going to find the loader, the OS, when it loads it up, is going to put the actual pointer to that import there. I think currently, like, this is probably the ordinal. If we were to actually like parse that out, that's the ordinal of that function inside of kernel 32, which is why you see it, like it shows it as a value there. But this is the type information associated with it, loaded by the binge type libraries. And so when it sees a call through that as a pointer, it knows how to kind of look it up. So linear view is basically just like hitting space. Okay, yeah, actually it's not, right? So and that's actually one of the differences. In IDA, when you look at decompilation of a function, you're looking at just one function. Binary Ninja has from the very beginning supported this either a graph view, so like we're disassembly graph over here, and I can hit space and I can look at just disassembly in a linear view. And now IDA will do this, right? You'll see the linear like disassembly with bytes in between and whatever other kind of bits of it. In fact, if I turn on my feature map, you can see, right, like this is like the same as the scrub bar in IDA right up top, except it's vertical in binge, which it's also actually 2D. So if you have a really big file, you can actually get higher granularity if you make it bigger. But anyway, you can see in here, like this is all code. All blue is code. Yellow is the imports right there. Pink is, I want to go with, I don't remember what pink is. Green strings. Right? Yeah, greens are strings. You can see them there as a bunch of strings. This is all just probably resources, right? So in this particular file, who knows what it is? It could be, some encrypted payload that it's going to drop. It could be other things like that. But the binge doesn't know what it is. It just shows him as blank because there's data. There's no variables there. And then it's shown a bunch of green because it thinks there's a bunch of strings in here because there's just garbage data that looks like strings, which is interesting to me, by the way. Yeah, because you can see this, yeah, that looks like a icon resource, right? You can literally see icon resources like that because bitmaps are visible half the time. And then down here, yeah, this looks just kind of like compressed random garbage, but it's probably going to get pulled out of by the code up top, I assume. Again, literally just knowing this is malware and nothing else. So you can see these are some, like there's a directory table here from like the PE information, debug info, and this is also like string tables, it looks like right here, right? So you'll see some strings that are referenced out of here, and then some of these are not because these are think it's, you can hit Shift A to make things, yeah, like Unicode, or sorry, UTF 16, right? Isn't that what Windows kind of annoying UTF encoding was? So I could select all this and then just hit Shift A, and I could, actually, I think I can select them all and hit Shift A, and it will just convert them all to Unicode strings. Yeah, so that's kind of nice. You see, it's the Shift A makes it a wide character 16 automatically. So if you just wanted to kind of see those better, you can do that. And you'll notice these here. Oops, I hit A instead of Shift A. No, that time I did want to do it. And then these are like variable cross references. So there's a variable here because it knows that this thing gets used as a pointer somewhere else in the code. And it doesn't yet know that it's a string, so that's what we can teach it. These are strings. But there's still cross references down here, so we can see those when they come in. UTF 16 plus LE. Yeah, you can tell it's been like almost a decade since I was seriously reversing Windows. I've forgotten a lot of it. Like CDB was a reasonable debugger, like when I was last doing real Windows reversing. And yeah, we do tend to be certainly a lot cheaper. And if you're a student, we have student discount pricing too. So make sure you look up in our frequently asked questions. So yeah, so that lets me convert these to something. Like I said, this is like a string, obviously just a bunch of strings here, and we're just not seeing all the references to all of them. That could be because, like I said earlier, we don't have the type information for some of the functions, so our analysis is going to be a little bit off, or it could be because it's obfuscated references to it, or any number of other reasons. Like this one's already a reference, but that's actually just // question mark /, right? So it showed up as like a data constant, but that is actually just a string, which I just kind of assumed looking through, knowing that we're scrolling through this this list of things that are all strings. So, all right, and then we get up here into the import table. So that's all we're looking at there. There is also, if I do here and switch to triage summary, the triage summary view here also has all the imports as well. And you can see, by the way, when I said earlier, those look like ordinals, that does appear to be the case, right? And so we can see all the libraries and stuff that are loaded here. If you just want to like look at a binary before you do a bunch of analysis, there's even like this open for triage view that will just directly open the binary in this view, and it just gives you a bunch of high level stats without doing like a whole lot of decompilation and analysis, which is nice. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can name stuff just the way you'd expect. You just hit N. So for example, let's go back to our function here. We're gonna call this EPM. So this is gonna write to, I mean, maybe this is, yeah, we're just gonna call this like write payload 2. I don't know if it's actually writing payload 2, but it looks like it's writing. I don't know if this is, yeah, so N, write payload or save payload, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, all the usual stuff you would expect to be able to do. And again, I'm in high level IL. I showed earlier that I kind of prefer that because I like seeing the names of arguments as well as the argument itself. But I could also switch over to the C view, and you notice it just changes formatting a little bit, but it's fundamentally the same thing. Yeah, that sort of import view is kind of, I think, the typical list. It's just this is like just the binary as a whole in whatever view I happen to be in. And you notice like I'm literally scanning the entire binary's decompilation as I scroll through here like that. So that's one thing that I think is different. A lot of people that are used to IDA tend to like just look at one function at a time. Oh, this is interesting. Randomly looking at it's doing a bunch of registry key. So yeah, we'll call this like registry stuff. Let's see where that's called from. Yeah, so this is all these threads are going to get created. So I think I can hit asterisk. No, O to make that a pointer. Yeah, to be like, yeah, this is actually a pointer. Oh, that's because I don't have create thread. Again, yeah, this looks wrong because I don't have the type information for create thread. So I really would want to go pull create thread. Though I'm not sure why I don't, but Yeah, so F5 and like the Binja equivalents would be just hitting, you can hit tab and you can hit space to like go between graph and disassembly view. Or again, you can have these kind of sidebar panels, which I think IDA also has been inspired by Ghidra's, the side panel sync, and they do a better job of that. Let me go back to the thing that I was kind of gonna make a little bit of progress on. What was that? IO device IO control. That was the function I cared about. Yeah, so like this is a good example where okay, so I'm gonna call IO equals, like this is the import entry, right? So I'm gonna do IO equals here. And so in the Binja scripting console, I can just type like here, and that's the hex address or decimal, whatever. It's just the value of wherever I'm currently at. So now if I type here, I'm somewhere else, but I can also now do here equals IO, and I can navigate back. So I can use that just to control what I'm looking at. Things like what I've got selected and what not are all controlled. So I'm going to use that so that I can, like, in the UI, be scrolling around and looking at places where this device IO control gets called. But now I can do things like bv.get code refs, and the address is going to be of the IO function, right? So these are all the places where that function gets called. Now let's just take off, like, it's not a list. Next, so let's just get the first one, and we're going to get a single instance here. I'm also watching that Discord too, by the way. Is that yeah, see, hats, the hats are, I don't have a shiny head though. I actually have hair. But I do have a shiny logo behind me that reflects. Uh, so anyway, yeah, let's pull up this first reference to this cross-reference, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to script up over all of the places where this device IO control gets called, and then I'm going to parse out whatever this actual control code is. I don't have code yet to handle that. I'd have to go kind of build that or figure that out. But I just kind of want to like walk through the process of like at a high level of making this. So that's the first cross-reference. And I'm just going to prototype it with that. Oh, I'm probably going to use like my snippets editor too. So let's make a new snippet, and we're going to call it decode IO control. So I'll write a little bit of code in here later once I've got something fancier. But for now, let's just get the first cross-reference. And now I'm going to do, let's see. It's just the address. And I think there's a function object as well on that. So I can do, what I want to do is, all right. So IO, oops, all right, so IO func is equal to that. I've already just got that. And then for ref in vv.get code refs IO func. All right, that's going to be iterating over all of these things. And I'm going to take the function and I'm going to say ref.function.get low level il at ref.address. So what this is going to do is this is going to give me like a Binja low level il object. And so for those on the stream that are not familiar with Binja's ILs, like so like the two main things I think that most people know Binja for relative to IDA and Ghidra are, one, I think our APIs, which I'm working with now. You'll see some of the stuff I can do here that you just don't do as easily. It's way more work on all the other ones. But the other thing we're known for is having all these different intermediate languages. I've just been looking at high level IL, but there's this medium level IL, there's low level IL. I'm not going to get into like all of the reasons for all of them and what you can do with them all, but there's some kind of advantages to all of them. And among other things, it makes that API and the scripting that you can do kind of better. Also, I'm behind on chat, so yeah. The type information thing, I'll follow up with you on Discord later about that. That's a kind of a long conversation, but yeah, it's essentially the main lacking thing right now for Windows types in particular. And it's especially noticeable in binaries like this with the 32-bit ones. Ironically, the 64-bit type libraries are also better too right now, but the cost, this is also true. I think, well, the cost though, compared to IDA, yes, but not to Ghidra, right? We sort of sit in between the two. So but for a commercially supported product, yes, our cost is significantly cheaper. And we also include all three platforms, all our decompilers, all the architectures. You get everything. There's no like, the only thing you don't get with like our non-commercial version versus our commercial version, like the hobbyist edition, is that we don't have like headless processing and multi-threading, but feature-wise, they're all the same. All right, so I've got my function. I can get low level IL at ref.address, and so this is like okay, it's a low level IL call, but it's like this call and it tells me ESP. It's doing like, you know, all I really want to know is like, what are the parameters of this call? So I can actually go from this low level IL to the medium level IL. And here you'll see like, oh, I've actually just got like the arguments. And so I can actually from here go to params and pull out, oh, I want the second parameter and I want the value of that second parameter. Sorry, not 2, I want 1. 0 indexed, there we go. So this is like for each one of these device IO control arguments, that control code. So that's going to be, so I'm going to say control code. So this is L low level IL is equal to that, and control code is equal to low level IL dot medium level IL dot parameters. We're going to pull off 1, and we're going to grab the value. I'm going to do twice. Value dot value. The first one is like an IL value, and the second one's like, no, give me just a concrete integer value. I think I can even do int on it like that, and yeah, it would give it to me that way too. So I can curse it in like a Python integer that way, but I'll just do value dot value. Okay, so this is actually the code. So now, presumably, I would have my. I mean, it's kind of boring actually. It's the script is like so little. I would write some script of like decode. Where was it? What do we call this thing again? IO. I've lost it already. Save it. Yes. Here equals IO. What was I calling this thing? Device IO control has a DW IO control code. Okay. So decode control code and to do, right? We're gonna have to fill that in later. So what now what I do is print decode control code and device equals unknown, operation equals unknown, right? So for now, I'm just gonna stub this out. Like that. So let's just save it and run it. And I typoed, this should be L instead of whatever. Oh, okay. So there is actually, I need to do one thing. One of these calls, you'll notice it actually moved that thing into EAX before it called it. So my script was kind of naive and just assumed that everywhere there was a code reference, it was going to be a direct call. That actually gets used later on. It's going to indirectly call it, I think. So let's, actually, let me show the address here on this one again. Show address. Oh, I have to actually go to it now. Where is it? Hold on. C1 disassembly. Can I go here? Yeah, so the script would need to be adapted a little bit to catch this particular one here. It actually wouldn't be super hard, but I'm just gonna like modify my script in the meantime, and I'm actually gonna say this is the medium level IL call here, so let's do it this way. Medium level is equal to also missing a period now. I deleted actually. Okay, hold on. We're gonna do ML is equal to L. If ll.mlil, if it is a local call, I think I can do. Call will work as well, but yeah, call is fine. Let's just do, if it's a call, like if we know the operation of this instruction is a call, then we'll do the same stuff. So now if we save and run it, we should have just a little bit of guardrails. There we go. Okay, so that's our little script to iterate over all of the places where that call was set. And now let's also do let's do something else. Let's put a comment there. So we're gonna do ref.function, and I actually forget the name of this. So it's current function dot set comment. Yeah, and then the address and then the string. So ref.function dot set comment and ref.address. So let's actually do this. Let's return our little pretty print string, and text is equal to decode control code print it, and then we're also, our script is gonna set comment at the address and the text. Okay. Okay. So theoretically, not this instance of it, but if we go to some of these other cross references, we can see we've added comments directly in the code there, right? And so if I look over back, it's, well, yeah, switch over to high level IL. Right, we're gonna have these comments in. So I can use this to quickly kind of annotate. Well, I don't have the ability to directly like modify that with the sort of like, I think it was called the macro feature that people were suggesting earlier. So that is like a feature that Binjo lacks, this ability to do that. But I would argue that like if you have any kind of like system like this and you need to like script up the automation of it, this is the realist strength of Binjo, right? The fact that this is literally 14 lines of code. Well, you know, it's 7 lines of code just to find all the cross references to something, iterate over it, and then take the parameter, like a parameter number to it. Like in other systems, you'd have to like walk the AST or part, like it's just not as clean. Like this is a really, really nice example of how to like quickly kind of scan stuff. So yep, Rust is coming along. It's still weak. It doesn't have all the APIs. Rust is better right now at implementing architectures, but I've started to see some people use it for analysis too. C++, and you know, anything that can call into C can technically do it. You can build your own wrappers for it, but to make them really nice, like the Python wrappers, you know, we put a lot of work into like making it kind of feel smooth. So. Oh yeah, the macro feature, if you're asking about that. Yeah, no, that actually might even be on the 3.1 list. I gotta go double check it. I didn't see it. But yep, C++. The C++ is less documented. So if you actually just go to api.binary.ninja, you can take a look at the C API and all the stuff that I did. Like, oh, I've got a function object and I want to call, you know, I want to get the low level IL like in that function. So you can go search the API docs. And find that there. But you'll notice like most of the Python docs have like, they have type hints and descriptions and things are named, return types. The C++ docs are, I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty embarrassing. Like it's really, they're here because we built the framework for them. Most of what people usually do is they'll just look through the Python docs, look at the docs there, and then you can always see how the Python core calls into the C++ APIs. There's a very few instances where there's like helper functions implemented in Python where it's not core functionality, it's just kind of at the API layer, but the vast majority is kind of a one-to-one mapping between the C++ under the hood, and so you can do that. But oh, that's interesting. So separate highlights for like if you're in just disassembly, jump, EAX, push, ABCD, ret. I'm curious what you mean by separate highlights for that. So like if I'm actually in, and actually, by the way, I'm gonna, if I bring this out down, I can split again and just do like a low level here. Let's do low level here, and let's do disassembly here. Kind of look at both of them side by side, but I'm not sure what you mean by separate highlights there. I'm curious if you can expand on that. I do need to leave here soon. This was a good stream though. This was a lot of fun. I think I got the expected lack in type libraries that I was not surprised to see. I'm kind of curious though. If I had a little bit more time, this evening, I would actually keep going on this little plugin and parse out those control code types and pull that, because I think that would be interesting. But which things do you want to highlight differently? Like I don't understand which, like what criteria. Oh, I gotcha. I mean, the UI doesn't do that, but you could really easily, like, if there is actually, hold on. Is there a tag for that? I don't know that. So jumps to a malformed target, jump to an unhandled relocation. We could make a jump to RWX memory or something tag with like a little plugin. That would be pretty straightforward to have like a new. So tags are like just like I can create a tag type called um, jumps to RWX, for example. And then like I can even change it's like a little emoji you can change if you want a different icon for it, for example. And then I can go through, and if I find one of those like jumpy X's, you could create tag at this location. I'm just going to use the command palette because I don't remember where it is in the right-click menu. Jumps to RWX, and then it tagged that location with that tag. So I would probably write a little plugin to just add a bunch of tags to all those locations, and then I could use this to like click through them to find them all. Oh, actually, oh, that's funny. There's a call ESI and a call EBX. The call ESI though is that actually? Yeah, that's actually the one that we saw earlier, where it was just calling through. And actually, I think if we, yeah, so this, where's the call ESI? Where'd it go? Yes, this call ESI here. I mean, the high-level IL just shows us directly that it's calling get current process, right? So it lacks the type information that we need, which means that analysis afterwards is going to get janky because the stack is going to be misaligned, because I don't know why we don't have. Wait, actually, does get current process have arguments? Maybe that's right. Does it just return a No? Okay, I lied. Sorry, that one is right. It has no arguments. It makes complete sense. Like I said, I don't Windows very much. So like we can see, actually we're calling this EAX function that we don't have, but that's get proc adder. That's fun. Ah, that's cool. And A to turn that into a string reference, because it doesn't see this as a string type, and so it doesn't render it. But if I just hit A, I can make it a string and then do it to register inline. So get proc adder. That's or get. There's a load library. Module handle. There it is. Yeah, right there. Yeah, so it's doing dynamic. Actually, I got a plugin for this. There's actually a plugin that will go through and find all of these. Well, in this case, it's not going to do the same thing as what our plugin does, because our plugin will decode get proc adders into like a call, like an import, where it's calling through a pointer that it saves to the global data section. But in this case, what you would really want to do is you actually just want to set this to so like this string here, I want to be able to do so I can actually set this on the return type. And if I get rid of this stuff, this should actually just work. Right? And so I can see when stuff gets called, or like actually this is a better one. Let's do this one. Yeah, so this is a good example that's really easy to write some automation to handle this kind of case too. And this is a fun case where even if you had type libraries in IDA, you're not going to get, I don't think, proper decompilation of this, because it's going to the understanding that this function is going to return a pointer to this other function from this other library, and therefore to apply the types appropriately. Yeah, I think Kappa can do this. They had a snippet that did that, but I don't know if it handles it Yeah, actually I haven't used it in a while. I know they had some stuff that did it. But it would be, oh, actually here, I kind of, yeah, let's go do that real quick. So let's grab this type and the, miss my side scrolling mouse. I know, it's a long stream. It's been fun. I've been having a good time. Oops, I hit T instead of Y. Cheers. Have a good weekend.
You too.
So wait, which one did I just set? I just did is WAL64 process. Oh, did I do the wrong? Did I hit the wrong one? I thought I hit this one. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, and actually, anyway, we can clean up the decompilation pretty well if we want to there. That's interesting. Oh, and yeah, we can see later on down here we got some other one of these that are called through those pointers that they saved off. That was where that function gets used. Cool. This looks like, no, I was gonna say it's a stack. Oh, it is a stack string. It's a UTF stack string. That's funny. So I think, oh, I think I have a snippet that does that, but it's this one has a stack string. No, there's a little snippet of code. Yeah, that I think I updated. Let's try it. Snippet annotator. Actually, even easier. I shouldn't have done that. I can use the snippet editor. There's this examples. And what was it called though? Oops. It was called string annotator. So string annotator run. Oh, I think I have to, yeah, select the tokens and then run. Does it work? Oh, this is, yeah, I updated it, but I don't think I pushed it to this thing. Yeah, I have or yeah, I need to adapt a little bit more to be able to like pull this out and just create a stack string. Actually, I might be able to do it right here though. W char 16T, was that what it was? Test, hold on. Stack string and OX30. Let's just pick a size. Oh. Yeah, so there is a stack string snippet there, but oh, it's down here now. Yeah, so yeah, that didn't quite do what I wanted. I really want this plugin to work. Let me hold on, let me see. I think I was working on this machine. Yeah, I think that is the changed version, but the thing that I built it for was for somebody who was writing still ASCII strings, but doing it via like word writes or dword writes. And so that current code is not going to work. I need to adapt it a little bit, but it'd be pretty straightforward. Because yeah, I wanna adapt that to do it too. But absolutely, you can undo. It used to be a way better joke when we first launched Binja, and I would make like I'd do some horribly wrong thing, and it'd be like, oh well, time to reload the whole database. I'm just kidding, and I'd undo it. But now that IDA actually has undo, it's less of a good punchline. But there was a time there. Wait, oh, Duncan is here. Hey, Duncan, sorry I missed you earlier. Welcome. You just missed one of your friends leaving, Duncan. Just walked out. So Yeah, I know. Undo trolling was, I was actually, I'm not wearing my no undo, no surrender shirt. I still haven't got one of the new ones that they've crossed it out and it just says undo surrender. Oops, I can spell undo. Well, that's not gonna give me, there it is. Yes, Timber made the original here. This was the original was made at Recon. I happened to be sitting next to him as he was making it in one of the talks. It was pretty funny. The original no undo, no surrender shirt. Anyway, so yeah, I need to get an updated one. But yeah, I gotta update that little plugin because that would be, yeah, you just want to be able to like select something and be like, please make this into a string. And all it does right now is it just adds a comment to the top of it and just says, here's what the string actually is. So it's not quite as nice as displaying it in line, but it's reasonable. So anyway, Rose was leaving Duncan. So yeah, all right. Well, I am nearing the time where I need to go home and eat dinner. Yeah, I just think it's funny. I like the meme regardless of whether it's true or not. The no undo no surrender or the, and it, yeah, don't mean it maliciously either. Like good for Ilfak and team to do that. In fact, actually the same recon where that shirt was made, Arnaud and Igor were both there and they were talking about how they were kind of planning on doing undo and how like their plan was for it. So absolutely, yeah, we'll definitely do that. So yeah, I think I'm gonna like close down for the day. This was not a bad. I'm kind of tempted to like to go and implement a couple more little plugins, like to do this, finish doing it. Well, see, I don't know. This is actually kind of fun. I kind of want to finish this. Let me look at this. So here's the string annotator function. Although I can never remember the hotkey in this window manager is like to resize. Trying to like, which button do I hit? Yeah, whatever. I can never do that. So I can look here to see how we'd pull out the like the annotation, right? Like one obvious way is we can do some like janky heuristics. And this is gonna pull out the like the parameter here for whatever this so let's undo our string change, for example. So the person who asked about the string change, let's do this here. So let's take this out and we're gonna make this the so value. Yeah, well, I don't know why we're doing that again. That should just be value here. Okay. So oh, this is the old one. Now hold on. Don't save changes to that. Let's run the downloader to update all those update example snippets. So the snippets plugin comes with this little thing, which just lets it download the Python snippets from my guest, and it will just overwrite all of them. So string annotator, which means I have to be careful when I make changes here to get them off this machine onto my other machine where I push it. Yeah, so the current one basically masks off a bit byte at a time. What I really want to do is, let's see. So if value mod 256. So if it's a null, the problem is like I'm trying to think of a good way to do this without like having a full state machine. Like if I wanted to detect UTF-16 and just pull out the bytes, well, let's just do it this way. Let's just basically, if it's null, yeah, well, while it's greater than 0, if value mod 256 is equal to 0, continue. right? So just skip it if it's not, and then otherwise keep doing your thing. And I could simplify that, but whatever, that's fine. And then, yeah, shift it off. So actually, is that going to be enough to do it? Let me make sure I didn't, yeah. Auto strings. Oh, that was not what I meant to do. Stack string, hold on. What's this one called? String annotator? Annotator? Inconsistent use of tabs and spaces. Oh yeah, that's a thing. Because let's do it this way. Auto. Oh, hold on. No, I need Visual Studio Code. I need like a real ID here. Code. No script debugger right now. Yeah, well, there is. I could actually wire up Visual Studio Code to it. So there is a I've not actually used it, but there is, what's the API? Connect VS Code debugger. So I can run a VS Code Python debugger and attach it to the Binger running instance that way. Yeah, or PyCharm. Yeah, Glen just said it exactly. Rename binge.exe to python.exe? So I'm confused. It works because, yeah, no, so yeah, Glen actually added that. So I'm glad he chimed in with that. But like that would be a thing. I've never actually set that up because I'm a lazy programmer who's usually just doing like little snippets like this. Why is my spaces? No, tabs. I want to switch alt to tabs. Yes, I'm a heretic. Which is why, actually, I thought my script though had the snippets editor has the ability to automatically detect whether tabs or spaces are used and use the right indentation. I thought. No, hold on. Copy. Oh, fine. I'll switch it over. I need to fix that actually. Let me make a note of that because I thought that the oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. So snippets, so I built the snippet letter. It's written in Python and it's janky. That's how you can tell I wrote it. Will let you select a bunch of text and hit tab or shift tab to automatically indent or unindent sections of code. But that detection tries to match the syntax of what's already there. So if I tab that, well, right now I think I have a mixture of tabs. Anyway, so there's some code to like automatically detect those tabs, but I don't think it like hijacks the actual tab hotkey, and it needs to, because I want it to have I want to have the ability to work with either tabs or spaces. Oh, I need, well, actually, at the very least, one thing is I need to have this here. Oh, colon, that's what you're talking about, right? Yep. Yeah. Hey there, Exorcist, welcome. All right, so that actually probably, if I got my if I got my tabs and spaces right, save and run. Yep. Yep. Did it just run? No, log info should have triggered. Oh, did I not save? I thought I did log. Let's just do this. Save and run. I'm suspicious. I'm also going to, I think there's like a, let's see, let's save our database and restart real quick. Because my snippet was doing something weird. And it should have, let's split our screen. Let's do this in just assembly. Oh, this actually, and I intentionally want this to not be displayed as a string reference. I want that to be the pointer works, hex, either one. Not auto, annotate. Annotate inlet strings. Oh, okay. So that ran, but is never exiting. Oh, hold on. It's never exiting, which means, oh, this is why. Yeah. Because I never actually shift the value. So I'm infinite looping my Python. That's what I'm doing. Now here's where I look and see if y'all recognize like 5 minutes ago. Okay, good. For once, I beat the I beat the chat. When I do like in-person like Binja training events and stuff, I keep like a thing of candy, and I'm usually telling people like every time you catch a bug that I write on a script, sorry, somebody's texting me, and apparently my do not disturb has expired. Actually, it's a friend in my parking lot who I gotta run outside for really quick, so I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Yeah, hey. Okay, bye. See ya. I'll get it for you later. That was funny. Okay. There we go. All right. So yeah, the problem is I'm infinite looping because I'm never actually like getting off this. We can just do this for now. And I'm gonna not hit my tab key. And now I've got to, I think, yeah, the problem is I can't kill those tasks. So killing the background Python task is a little bit of a pain. So right now I usually just restart Ninja, and I try not to write code that's going to have awful infinite loops in it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that's better. There's probably a better logical structure for that. Oh. Hey, look at that. Cool. So, ta-da. Now we can handle UTF-8 or UTF-16 strings. And so we've got our comment in here. And in fact, if we, yeah, I did that on the assembly, but I think it would have worked fine the way that I've written it if you would have just selected a chunk of code and been like, please make that string too. So that works. Kind of boring and should have been obvious from looking at it, but I'll update that snippet. So cool. All right, I think I'm gonna wind down, go home, see the family. But thanks everybody for hanging out. This was a really fun stream. I'm looking forward to playing this more. I want to try to get some of those. Maybe we can get some of the type libraries fixed up before next stream, and then come back into this, and then I can keep working on that. The thing that annotates the device IO stuff, pulls those out, and I might look at some of the other kind of write-ups, or at least figure out what sorts of things people are yes, make it that inline string. What's people, what sort of stuff people have been doing with this binary. So cool. Anyway, thanks again for hanging out, everybody. I'll be back in 2 weeks is the usual streaming schedule, and so we'll see y'all then. Thanks. Take it easy.